Hello happy crocheters, this is Lindsay from windingrowcrochet.com and today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty lavender Afghan. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. For this project, I am using the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre and a color called Frosty Green in their regular Super Saver yarn. This is a size 4 worsted weight yarn. And you can get the amounts on the written pattern for 9 different sizes if you're wanting to know how much you would need to use for a certain size. I am using a 5.5 millimeter or a size I crochet hook for this project. You will also need a yarn needle and scissors. To get started, we are going to make a slip knot and insert our hook. I am using the ombre yarn because that will be the center of my blanket. I'm going to make a small sample size just so I can show you the whole project very quickly. We want to go ahead and start chaining. I'm going to put different chain amounts up on the side of the screen so you can chain the number you need for the blanket you are making. You can check out the written pattern if you want to see the dimensions of each blanket, or you can simply chain any multiple of 3. You want your chain to be a multiple of 3 and then this pattern will work for you. Once you have your chain made, we are going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. I'm going to go into the back bump, but you can work into this chain any way that is comfortable for you. And we're going to half double crochet in every chain across. Your stitch count will of course vary based on what size blanket you are making. Your stitch count should be 1 less than your starting chain. Once you reach the end of the row, I am going to use my chain 1 method for my turning chain. I do not count my turning chain as a stitch. So what I like to do is chain 1 and then gently pull up because we will be making a double crochet. This tends to hide my side chain, but we will be hiding this with a border. In our first stitch, we are going to double crochet. Now we are going to skip a stitch, and in the following stitch, we're going to work a cluster V-stitch. Let's start with a cluster stitch. For this, we are going to yarn over, insert our hook into that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over again, go back into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of them. 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. That is our first cluster stitch. Now to make the cluster V-stitch, we will chain 1 and work another cluster stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop from the same stitch, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up another loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on our hook. We have 3 loops on our hook now, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That is the cluster V-stitch. Now we will skip 2 stitches and do another cluster V-stitch. We are going to continue working cluster V-stitches with 2 stitches skipped in between until you reach the end of the row and you only have 2 stitches left unworked. I'm going to chain 1 and make 1 more cluster stitch into the same stitch. Just do this all the way across your row until you have 2 stitches left. When you reach the end of the row with 2 stitches left, we are simply going to double crochet into the very last stitch. So skip a stitch and double crochet into the last stitch. Now we're ready for row 3. Row 3 is our repeat row, so you'll repeat row 3 as many times as you need to get the length of the blanket you're wanting to work. To begin row 3, we are going to chain 1, and I'm going to pull up. If you'd rather chain 2, you're more than welcome to. We're going to work a double crochet in this first stitch. It's at the top of the double crochet of the previous row. And then we are going to work a cluster V-stitch in every chain 1 space in the center of the previous cluster V-stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and work my first cluster stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Going to chain 1 and make another cluster stitch. That is the cluster V-stitch, and we're just going to repeat that in every chain 1 space. This causes our cluster V-stitches to sit on top of each other, and they kind of look like lavender buds, the way that lavender buds are stacked on top of each other. So continue to work cluster V-stitches in every chain 1 space across. And then when you reach the very last chain 1 space, you've worked your cluster V-stitch in it. We're just going to double crochet into the very last stitch. And then simply repeat this row as many times as you need for the size blanket you are making. And I will put up some suggested row counts on the side of the screen to help you out with that. It is also a good idea at this point to measure your blanket, make sure it is as wide as you want it to be, and then before you finish up the last row, make sure to measure your blanket again to make sure it's as long as you would like it to be. So once you've checked all of your sizing, it's time to work our very last row. We just want it to be exactly like our first row, so we're going to chain 1, turn, and we're going to half double crochet in every stitch and chain 1 space across. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the first stitch, half double crochet in the top of the cluster stitch, half double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then just keep repeating this all the way across, working a half double crochet in every stitch and chain 1 space across. Once we reach the end of our row, I'm just working my very last stitch. We're going to begin our first border row, and it is going to be single crochets using the same color of yarn that we did for the center. So we will be single crocheting around the entire project just to have a nice base row for our border. To do this, we are going to chain 1, and for this blanket we're going to work 1 single crochet into the side of the first stitch. Then we are going to work 2 single crochets into the side of the next stitches. These stitches were double crochets, so that is why we are working 2 single crochets into the side of each. So I'm just looking for where the side of that row is, and I'm placing 2 single crochets either through or around the double crochet at the very edge of that row. And I will continue doing this all the way until I reach the side of the very last row. When I reach the very last row, I am just going to work 1 single crochet into the side of it. That's because it was a half double crochet row. Once that single crochet is made, we're going to turn the corner. To do this, we are going to chain 2. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet into the opposite side of our foundation chain. So going into the foundation chain, we are going to work 1 single crochet for every chain on the foundation chain. Sometimes it can be a little hard working into the foundation chain, but we only have to do it once on this side of the project. So here I have reached a corner again, and we're working up the sides of the rows. We're going to chain 2 to turn the corner. In the first row, we are going to work 1 single crochet, and then all the other rows we will work 2 single crochet, and then work 1 single crochet in the very last row, just like the last side, just like the other side of the rows. So I did that and got back up to the 4th side that we need to work across. This side is easy because it's the top of stitches. So I'm going to chain 2 first, and then I am going to single crochet in the top of every stitch of our last row. Just work a single crochet in every stitch across. So I've made it all the way across the top of the row. We just need 1 last corner, so we will chain 2 and slip stitch to the very first single crochet. Then we can fasten off because we are done with the center color of our blanket. And let me know in the comments below if you like tutorials like this, because I could easily work up lots of different stitch combinations with using little samples like this, if this is something you enjoy. So I'm actually not going to clip mine off because I plan to pull this out when I'm done. But let's go ahead and start with our next color. We are going to be doing a standing half double crochet. To do this, I'm first going to make a slip knot and insert my hook. You can pick any corner. We want to find the chain 2 corner space, and what I'm going to do is hold the loop on my hook with my finger, yarn over, insert my hook into that chain 2 corner space. It might be a little hard to see, but it's there. We put them there. Pull up a loop. Keep holding that first loop with your finger. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That is a standing half double crochet. Now to continue, we're going to work 1 more half double crochet into that chain 2 corner space. Now to start our border, we are going to work half double crochets in the back loop only of every stitch across this side. To do this, we're going to find the top of our stitch, go down the top center of the stitch and out the back so that only 1 loop is over our hook. Yarn over and pull up your loop and complete your half double crochet. Now we're going to repeat this, working in that back loop only. So go down the top center of your stitch and out the back. And what this is going to do is just give us a very subtle horizontal line that's going to go all the way around our project, and it just makes a very simple half double crochet border have a little more pizzazz. So you're just going to half double crochet in the back loop only of every stitch until we reach our next corner chain 2 space. When we reach that chain 2 space, you can see that light little horizontal line detail that we are making. We are going to work 3 half double crochets into that chain 2 space. So for every corner, we are working 3 half double crochets either into the chain 2 space, or as you will see in the next row, we're going to work it into the what I'm going to call the corner stitch, which is actually the middle stitch of the 3 half double crochets we just worked. Now to go down the next side, we are just going to continue half double crocheting in the back loop only of every stitch across. Continue doing this until you reach your next corner. When you reach that corner, you're going to work 3 half double crochets in the corner, and then work down your next side, work 3 more half double crochets in the 4th corner, and then work down the next side, and I'll show you how to finish up this row. Here I've made it all the way around the project. If you remember, we only worked 2 half double crochets in that corner stitch. We're going to finish up that corner stitch by working 1 more half double crochet in the chain 2 corner. Then we are going to slip stitch to the very first half double crochet. This completes row 2 of our border. Moving right along to row 3. Row 3 is our repeat row of our border. We are going to chain 1, and we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the very first stitch. And you can repeat row 3 as many times as you want to make this border as large as you like. So I've worked 1 half double crochet, and now I've worked a second half double crochet into that first stitch. That is our corner stitch. I'm going to work in the back loops only and work a half double crochet in every stitch until we reach our corner stitch, which I will show you in just a second. We have reached our corner, and you can see where we had the 3 half double crochets worked into the previous chain corner space. We are going to find that center half double crochet. That is our corner stitch. I'm going to work 3 half double crochets into this corner stitch. And then I'm going to continue down the next side working half double crochets into the back loop only until we reach the next corner stitch. Once we reach that corner stitch, we're going to work 3 more half double crochets just like we did, work down the next side till the corner stitch, work 3 more half double crochets, and then come all the way around to the very beginning of our row. And there I am right at the beginning of my row. And remember, we only worked 2 half double crochets into the first stitch. So we're going to go back to that first stitch and work 1 more half double crochet, and then slip stitch to our very first half double crochet. That leaves our seam right in the center of a corner. So now all you need to do is repeat this row as many times as you like until your border is as thick as you like. This row is not exactly the same on the front and the back, but it's pretty similar. For this sample piece, I decided to work 5 green rows total, but you could definitely do more if you like. When it's done, you just need to fasten off and weave in your ends. And then the other thing I would do is just lightly pull on those corners. This provides you a nice rounded corner, but if you'd like to make it a little more pointed, you just have to lightly pull on the corners. Or you could even wet them and block the corners just so that they're a little pointier. As you can see, the front and the back is similar, but not exactly the same, but similar enough, I think. So I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Let me know if you like this style of tutorial. As I said, I could do lots of different blankets and border combinations this way since it's just a small sample. But you just let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching the tutorials. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to see me do a tutorial on, you can leave that in the comments as well.